What's up, guys? Twintuitive 717. I am back with another reading. Of course, always hanging with my little sidekick, Mega Good Vibes. Let's get into a collective message here. And when I say collective, it's going to be for whoever is listening. You could be attracted to the title of the reading already. I feel like this will involve a message from Spirit for you. One thing I have been picking up on a lot, guys, is connection to source. Okay, connection to source is a really big thing right now. Age of Aquarius is all about a time of really being disconnected from faith. And I think that that happens on purpose because we go through this illusion that we are ultimately in control. And what happens is we get into this cycle of only believing in source when shit hits the fan. And the rest of the time, it is just solely focused on self, right? This whole idea of manifesting and bringing things into your environment just by thinking it and creating these vision boards. And I feel like the more the more we do those practices, we stray further and further away from realizing that we actually don't have to ask for anything, right? Many of us are in this energy of just wanting and craving and consuming, and the more we pay attention to the environment of around us, the more we pay attention to the environment around us, everything that's going on, it's harder and harder to tell what's our truth, right? Some of us may be chasing things that we really don't want, we're really not in alignment with, but it looks good, it's being flashed around everywhere. So your first step is going to be really be intentional. Be intentional with everything around you. I do feel as well with technology advancing so rapidly, we have technology within our phones, for example, and that's why I've been encouraging you guys to really cut off the screen time, even turn your phones off and stuff when you guys are just, relaxing and just trying to do normal things that don't involve scrolling or searching for information or needing information. Okay, we are not the Page of Swords here. And we can't stay in the Page of Swords energy 24/7 because we're going to get burnt out, we're going to get depleted, and we're straying further and further away from our agenda. What did we come here to do? And many of us can't find the answer to that question because it is too noisy in our minds. Okay, so giving thanks and gratitude and praising life itself, what you've been given, is what I feel the collective is going to be moving towards, rather than using source like an ATM. When shit hits the fan, are you just wanting to consume? It's really hard to lose sight of what you've been given, and many people are straying from the energy of gratitude, and it's really draining you. It's really holding you back. So I'm going to dig into some messages here and see what wants to come out for the collective in terms of the reminders, the messages. What do you need to do for yourself on the journey, on the path at this time to remain grounded? Okay, so we have messages coming through. Many of you could be having dreams as well. That's really signaling you to, again, have faith in something bigger. Flying as well, maybe something really significant that many of you are dreaming about. Like flying up into the air or being amazed that you can twirl in the air in your dreams. Okay, so pay attention to birds, your connection with birds. A really important synchronicity as well for many of you is the fish and the bird. So the fish in the pond, spending its entire life admiring the bird in the tree, wishing that it could fly, and just really not bothering to explore all of its wonderful environment, everything available to it, never thriving in that pond, never feeling happy or satisfied in that pond because it's just so busy swimming up to the surface of the water all the time, looking at what the birds got going on, right? Again, pay attention to things like that. We have comfort zone, south node, and clinging. Okay, so it's uncomfortable. And I did talk about this in the last reading as well, with the Divine Masculine Collective going through a transition where they are really clinging to the old paradigms. And the old paradigm has a lot to do with waking up and consumption, right? Many of us are waking up and we're refusing to consume because we're like, no, 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 no. I don't know what that shit's going to do to my consciousness and my ability to focus and pay attention. So many of us are becoming very, very serious about what we watch, what we eat, what we listen to. Many of you are seeing these karmic breakdowns as well, giving you signals to pay attention to things like music, right? Pay attention to who it is you may be idolizing or taking advice from, or who you find inspiring. I feel like all of that is shifting back to, wait a second, I need to get back to what my core values are instead of clinging to something that feels very painful. Okay, many of you are getting signs as well of just letting go and taking that risk. For those of you who want to let go and you're feeling the energy of fear, think of that fear as a spirit that wants you to stay under an illusion. Okay, and I'm hearing as well, guys, like if you haven't watched Spirited Away, watch it. Okay, it's really, really important for you to be able to deal with the shadow work and a lot of the darkness that comes along on the journey. The darkness is not here to hurt us. It is simply just here to influence us. And it really is our choice whether or not we want to engage. So if you guys have seen Spirited Away, there's a monster in the, or a spirit, and they're called No Face, okay? And Sen, No Face kept offering everybody gold, right? And all of these, people that worked at the bathhouse, all different types of creatures and some even humans, were just so fascinated by the greed, right? Just wanting to take the gold. But Sen was the only one to say, something ain't right here. Like, I don't want your gold. I have a mission right now to do something really important. Like, here, you take it. I don't want it. So he was very, very attracted to Sen's spirit. And eventually, with that determination and with that strength and with those boundaries and with that surety of who it is I am and this is what I stand for, and I'm not going to stray your way, no matter how scary or intimidating or overwhelming your energy is, you have to pay attention to my boundaries, and that is my final say. Like being from Trinidad as well, guys, you have to be kind of aggressive at times. Like a lot of the times when you feel the spirit of like darkness, let's see what's in this card as well for this story. Truth and expression. I'll tell you guys a story, quick side note here. So being from Trinidad, we're no strangers to the darkness, okay? We know that it exists, but what I've been taught all my life is it's part of the assignment, okay? And it's either you're going to come here and you're going to be afraid of the dark, or you're going to understand that it's your job to function with the darkness, understand what it brings to the table, but still be able to hold on to your values. I remember once, like when I was pregnant with my son, I started experiencing a lot of sleep paralysis, and I started like feeling and seeing entities, okay? Dark entities coming towards me, trying to scare me. And ever since I was a child, I had a very close connection to Lord Hanuman. And I remember 8 years old, I memorized the Hanuman Chalisa. And at the very end of the Chalisa, it says, whoever reads the Hanuman Chalisa 100 times shall be freed from bondage and attain righteousness. And so as an 8-year-old, I was like, I want to attain righteousness. I didn't even know what the word righteousness meant, but something in my heart and soul told me, you will be with Hanuman, okay? So as a child, okay, 8 years old, I felt this strong connection to achieve this. And so I read it 100 times. And ever since that, I've always felt Hanuman's presence with me. And so when I started having the sleep paralysis, and even as a kid, when I used to have really scary or frightful dreams, in my dream, I would find myself chanting, Jai Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman. Because I learned as a kid, Hanuman's name alone uttered in the universe, it frightens the darkness, okay? So I remember having this dream I was pregnant with my son at the time, and I was going through this big thing at work. Many of you who have been following me for a really long time know this story, but I used to work customer service before I started YouTube. And at this big company, if I said the name, you guys would like lose your shit. You'd be like, no way. But anyways, I worked customer service for this company and a really long time. I was like 4 years in to the job, ended up getting pregnant with my son. I would say about 3 months. I want to say like 3 months or 5 months into my, it's either 3 or 5. I can't remember, guys, but I would say, no, it's 5. It's definitely 5, because I remember I wanted to wait to tell everyone at work before the 3 month mark. After the 3 month mark. So, at 5 months pregnant, we had somebody else from another office transfer over to our call center, this gentleman. And I shouldn't call him gentleman just because he was such a scumbag, but whatever. I've harbored forgiveness in my heart. But anyways, guys, long story short, he basically started sexually harassing me, like, while I was pregnant. Like, he couldn't get over the fact that it was like, oh my God, you're so sexy. Oh, pregnant women are so sexy. Just a whole bunch of shit. I can't really go through a lot of the details because I took their asses to the Human Rights Commission. Long story short, I had reported it to my manager, and he didn't really do anything about it. And I just thought, for a company that's like $1 million company, probably even $1 billion company, known worldwide, like, you guys are just gonna act like this is okay. Well, I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the fact that I was pregnant with my son. But I basically walked off the job, okay, kicked my feet up at home with my pregnant swollen feet, kicked them up at home, and basically filed a human rights complaint against the company to let them know that they weren't providing a safe environment for someone that was pregnant. And because I continued to be harassed by this person, like, even when I was off and I walked off the job, he had the audacity to add me to Facebook to find out, like, why aren't you at work? Where are you? So I had all of this as, like, proof in my documents and letters and all of these things. And guys, I represented myself, by the way. Like, I did not do this with a lawyer. It was just basically me being like, no, you're not going to do that to me. And I refused to go back to work because they still had that guy working. And they tried everything to get me to come back to work. But I didn't. It was just like, no, you guys crossed a line. You crossed a serious boundary. I reported sexual harassment to you, and you're going to just act like it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. We'll talk to him. Like, I expected that there was going to be, like, repercussions, and they were going to make an example out of him. And they didn't, so I had to make an example out of them. So anyways, I represented myself, went to the company, pretty much had the commission rule in my favor. I mean, the commission really looked at them like, what the F are you guys really doing? Like, you guys are so-and-so company. Like, you should really know better. Like, you're absolutely wasting our time and resources here. So they were ordered to pay me a very, very hefty amount of money, to which I then was put in a position to say, okay, what do I really want to do with my time? And at the time, like, I was also kind of going through my whole twin flame journey. And anyways, what I want to say to you guys was, after I had that experience of taking their asses to the commission and having them, like, be in the wrong and have to pay me that much amount of money, after I'd not gone back, like, I never went back, I started having a lot of sleep paralysis. It was like the universe was like, this is your initiation and you passed the test. Now let's go ahead and give you a few more tests so that you know what you're getting yourself into. So when I was pregnant with my son, I was, like, dealing with them, and once everything was, kind of settled, and it was really stressful, guys, because I was pregnant at the time, and there were times where, like, they would come back with their paperwork to say, like, oh, I'm lying, and, like, I invited in the sexual harassment. I was like, classic. You guys are classic. Like, I'm pregnant. What the hell would I be doing entertaining a guy sexually harassing me? Like, I have bigger fish to fry here, literally. So I don't know what their lawyers were thinking. Honestly, in hindsight, I do believe, because it was female lawyers, I do believe in my heart of hearts that the female lawyers that worked for this company purposely sabotaged this. I don't know for sure, because, I mean, come on, I'm no law degree here, okay? You guys are Bay Street lawyers, and you're gonna fumble like this? So I honestly felt in my heart of hearts that they were purposely trying to do everything in their power to make the company pay, because low-key, even they were just like, no, like, this is unacceptable. She's pregnant, Anyways, guys, sorry to go off track there. I just had to tell you guys that, because I really feel like the story is going to be, significant to many of you who have had experiences where it's like, yeah, you did have a spiritual initiation to, prepare you for the armor that many of you are now wearing. A lot of you have been hit left, right, and center, but you keep getting back up, okay? And now this time around, I feel like many of you you're dancing now with the darkness. So when I was pregnant with my son, I started having sleep paralysis, and I started having all of these entities and things try to attack me in my sleep. I would wake up and I would literally feel like I couldn't move, and then there would be entities coming in the room to try to intimidate me, and then I could literally feel myself in the dream like, okay, JJ Hanuman, JJ Hanuman, JJ Hanuman. One time I had a dream that an entity was coming towards me, and the more I chanted Hanuman's name, it got angry and it kept making the room dark. And what ended up waking me up out of my dream was Mega jumped on the bed, and I felt her purring so loudly. So I kind of thanked her. I was like, thank you, Mega. And I scratched her ear a little bit. And then I gently moved her to the side of the bed. And I got off the bed. And guys, honestly, because I'm from Trinidad, I learned this as like a kid from one of my great aunts. She's like, if anything ever attack you, you must cuss with our mother so and so, you know. Because she started teaching me like, you know, like dark entities, they don't like fire. And they don't like bad language, okay? For some reason, it really, really, really irritates their frequency, okay? So, I remember the only thing I didn't have was a machete under my bed, because that's my great aunt's flex, yo. She holds a machete under her bed, any bad dreams, she whips out that machete and she starts cussing, and then she goes back to bed. So that's what I did that day. I was like, here what? You see this child in my belly? All you play, all you come in. All you pick the right one. All you play, all you come in. So that's what I feel is happening with many of you, okay? And that's why I had to share that really long story, is because many of you are getting into this energy of, like, play with me, like, do it, okay? Because a lot of you are getting your strength back, okay? So many of you with this truth and expression, I feel like you are being prepared to take this mask off and to really start expressing a lot of your truth. You couldn't do that before because many of you were too distracted by a lot of the things that were purposely sent to distract you, but you started waking up, right? Screen time, okay, gotta eliminate that. Smoking, drinking, consuming, too much entertainment, media, things like that. No, it's draining me, okay? It's creating addictions and codependencies in areas that I can clearly recognize, and now I'm about to conquer these little spirits, okay? I feel like many of you are ready. You're prepared because you have clarity and you can see, okay? Guilt and sabotage, they tried to keep you in this energy for a very, very long time. This was the initiation that many of you went through, okay? You might have had things sabotaged in your life to initiate you into this kind of badass energy because you've seen things that I feel like the regular eye hasn't seen, and you've experienced things on a spiritual level, maybe even seen certain visions related to you speaking your truth or reaching people in order to help plant seeds, okay? And another thing that I'm getting to is many of you're doing it ruthlessly and very bravely as well, because this initiation, yes, it may have knocked you down and it may have been very, very painful. But what's really, really, really impressive is that you didn't stay down, okay? Lots of spirits around you, very, very curious about your energy. You see what happens, guys, is like energetically, these spirits now are kind of fascinated and attached to you in a sense because like when you represent light, okay, let me backtrack here. A lot of these spirits, when you start awakening, the spirits are basically souls here that like they're too afraid to go anywhere else. They may have experienced incarnations here on earth, and that fear, anything that they experience that makes them feel so attached to staying here, it's kind of like the train passes, right? And Spirited Away, you know, that train that takes you back. The train passes. They see the train coming, and they know that the train's going to take them to the light, but they're so angry about how this incarnation ended or the experiences that they've had in this incarnation that they refuse to let go. Why? Because they're here to seek revenge, right? They want some kind of I want to say revenge, but it's not that word I'm getting. Like it's like justice. They want some kind of justice in a sense. But the problem is that like they're going against a contract. You came here to learn these things and now it's time to move on. But those who are stuck, they manifest in the form of spirits trying to distract you and trying to take over so that way they can now live out certain experiences. That's why sometimes like the spirit of alcohol, you can't remember what you did because it wasn't really you. You created an aura or a hole for a lot of these spirits to kind of enter. Now, a lot of them aren't bad guys, you know, like a lot of them aren't like evil or the way that we might perceive it. It really is just your light. I'm attracted to it probably because I missed the train and that's where the train was supposed to be taking me. So they kind of linger around you and they try to distract you. And I feel like for many of you, boldly saying like, I don't want you in my space, you're gonna have to move on or move forward, like commanding things to you, that's going to be a big thing for the collective right now, I feel, is really just like commanding things out of your energy and using the help and the assistance of source to help you bring things into your energy, and only if it's for your highest good. That's another thing I see many of you starting to kind of tap into and realize that it's like, I don't really need anything. Like, just please bring whatever is meant to be in my highest good. Like, please help me attract those things, you know? So anyways, guys, this reading is kind of going on to be a bit of a long one. So I think she's a little hungry now getting up as well. So I'm going to call this reading here. I don't know why I was guided to share this or who it's meant to help, but I hope it does help in some way. You guys take it easy and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay. All right. Bye guys.